What's cooking? You're very welcome to What's Cooking right here on Channel 1 TV. My name is Apioko, and maybe I should throw in Seiram there so that you understand that today is a very special day. Miawezolo. Now, I'm sure by now you figured out that we're doing something very special on the show today. Yes, we're going all the way to the Volta region of Ghana. We're making no less of a dish than Ayikple. It's a very special dish. It's a very technical dish, but it's not as difficult as a lot of people make it out to be. And for that matter, we have a very special guest to prepare this very special meal. And I won't tell you who he is just yet, but it's not like he's a chef or he's like a culinary expert. I mean, he is in some ways, but not in the way you're thinking. But you'll be really shocked when I tell you who he is. And I will introduce him to you after this break. But before we go, let me remind you that this show is sponsored by Tasty Tom. Ufa kakra na ye bebre. Indomie, it tastes great. Fortune rice and mopa, it's mama's choice all day, every day. And Frital, you, yes you deserve a life of goodness. So let's go for the break, and when we come back, we get cooking. Welcome back. This is still What's Cooking on Channel 1 TV, and my name is Apioko. Now, it's time for me to introduce my guest. But don't forget, the show is sponsored by Fortune Rice and Mopa. We also have Frital, you deserve a life of goodness. Indomie, it tastes great. And Tasty Tom, Ufa kakra na ye bebre. Now it's time for me to introduce my guest. And if you're just joining us, I explained earlier what we're doing today. So we started out, we danced some agbaja, we did our welcome, Miawezolo in Eve and all that. Now, I'll have you know that today we're making something that we call Ayikple. It's one of the plants. You know, so you have a plant, you have Jen plant, lots of plants. We are making Ayikple. And it's one of the more ceremonial meals amongst the Ewe people. But I won't talk too much. I'll let my guest come and explain. He's extremely passionate about so many things. And one of them is the culture of Ghanaian food and how we must preserve it so that generations after us can enjoy it, benefit from it, and proclaim it to the world. So allow me to welcome, it is my honor, Dr. Mawuli Coffie. He is the country director for the World Cocoa Foundation, but he has to dance onto the sets. Ododio! Welcome, Doc.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. It's such a pleasure to have you.
Very exciting to be here. Very exciting
so
to be
you
here.
know, we were having other conversations, Doc and I, and he says, no, I want to come and make Ayikple on What's Cooking. I said, well, I'm not going to say no to that. You know, it's such a pleasure to have you.
I'm so glad to be here. I've watched your show several times, and I've always looked forward to being part of the show because I love Ghanaian food.
I hope this is only the first time you are coming. Because
No.
from what I hear, you can make several things.
Yes.
It's not just Ayikple.
Not just
And
Ayikple.
Ayikple too is a very technical one, and that's your first one.
Yes, my first one. And there are many other ones that I created myself.
Oh, wow.
Ghanaian dishes.
Wow. Then you have to write a cookbook.
Maybe,
Yes.
maybe that's something I will
Yes,
consider.
you have to.
But I think it's time for us to emphasize our meals and make sure that people know what it takes to make Ghanaian dishes.
I agree.
Yes.
I agree.
Yes.
So I'm making Ayikple.
Yes.
A lot of people have the notion that Ayikple is difficult, it takes so long to prepare. And I think we have that perception about a lot of our meals. But we've discovered that with technology, with the advent of so many things of convenience, that's not necessarily the case. And I'm sure you're going to show that to us, prove that to us with Ayikple as well today.
Yes, the notion that Ghanaian dishes are difficult to prepare and takes too much time has actually discouraged a lot of people from patronizing our dishes. But what we are about to do today is to show that it is that simple. Of course, it takes time to organize all your ingredients, put them together, prepare them, some of which you can prepare and leave. And when you need to prepare them, you go ahead and prepare them. And it takes a very short time to prepare them, as you will see. But for now, because we are trying to show all the things that go into this dish, we have assembled all of them for everybody to see.
You have come to meet here.
Yes, everything is here. If you don't mind, our anchovies are here.
Yes.
Which is a very, very important protein in Ayikple.
So what we call abobi.
Yes.
But
then we have our usual, dried tilapia, which we also call kobe.
yes.
And then we have the smoked tilapia. And you can substitute this with any other smoked fish.
Okay. Thanks.
And of course, we have our fresh tomatoes. We have our ginger, fresh ginger, garlic, and habaneros. These are very hot chilies.
Yes.
The people in the southern part of the Volta region, they like spicy food. For various reasons, but because we love fish, and fish goes with a little bit more
Absolutely.
spice.
Absolutely.
So we have our habanero fresh and looking very, very,
Very bright.
very bright,
Vibrant.
very, very bright. And then, if I may come to this side of the table, this is dried coconut. In the olden days, this is all they needed to substitute for edible oil. Because they didn't have edible oil, they crack this and they actually grate it. They grate it and boil it to extract the oil. And then we have our fresh onions, and then we have the beans. Now here we have the raw beans. And then we cook it up to about 90% boiled.
Okay.
If you make it too soft, by the time you stir it up in the dough, it becomes too soft.
Okay.
So you cook it about 90%, don't make it too soft. And here we have what is the big deal. This is roasted maize corn flour.
Roasted
Main
maize.
corn flour.
Yes.
Some people call it tom brown,
brown.
but I prefer to call it roasted corn flour because you don't add anything to it.
Okay.
You just get a fresh.
So this is without the ginger, without the
Without
groundnut,
anything.
the things that we use to make the tom brown porridge. No, this is just the
roasted corn that is milled, and that is it. And we like it to be fresh and not added anything added to it. And then we have this is quite important. And if you know that for the southern part of the Volta region, we have the anglons and the tongs. Now this dish is very important among them, and this is very important. This is what we call smoked shrimps. Smoked shrimps, and smoked shrimps gives a special flavor to the dish. And so I like the way it looks here.
It looks here.
And you can just add a little bit. For most Ghanaian dishes, I think people call it moko or something like that.
Yeah, so there's monko. The Ghanaians will say song,
Song.
you know.
But
and it's very important in our black pepper sauce, the shito,
yes,
as well. So
yes.
it plays a big role.
It gives you
in Ghana.
that taste that is between, the sea and the river.
And the river. So this is where the tributary
comes in. That's where it comes in. This dish comes very nutritious. And among the airways in the south, malnutrition was very low because it actually gives all the nutritional elements of a dish. So that's what we are going to do today. But let me also quickly emphasize that one of the things that we are losing as a people is our dishes.
Okay.
Because of convenience and speed. But these dishes historically has made our people eat well and very healthy. To save time, we are going to be doing a lot of things simultaneously.
Okay.
So the first one is to make sure my hands are very clean.
Yes.
Because I'm going to be handling.
Very necessary.
So the first thing I want to do is to steam the meat.
Okay.
So I'm going to cut it into smaller cubes.
I'll get you a Papa Doc. I want to find out, is there a reason why we're using goat meat and not any other meat? I'm just curious.
Yeah, traditionally, our people use goat meat because probably that is what is readily available. But you can use any meat of your choice. As I said, it's not really very important for this dish. But for the moody man that wants to serve this dish in a way that is a bit more appealing and exciting, you want to have something on the side.
Want to know that we are chewing.
And as once you know that, we like to...
We have arrived, so we are chewing.
Exactly. So we chop it up into small cubes. All we need, we are going to fry it. So we are going to wash it and add a little bit of salt and a little bit of onion and a little bit of ginger. That's all we need for the meat. Minimal water. Now, meat already has a lot of water in it, and that's what you don't want. You don't want the water to, the water you pour in to take away the original stock of the meat.
So the scientist in Doc is coming out.
So you make sure that the water is very little, because once you cover it, the meat itself has very good juice, and that juice will give it the taste, so you don't lose it. And then you can just drop it on the meat, and that is all you need. So
very simple.
Very simple. That's all you need. It's not too complicated. And then we chop some ginger and add to it. If you blend it, it is okay. But if you don't blend it and you just chop it into small pieces, that is also okay. If I have all the time and I'm doing a big meal, then I'll blend everything. And so then everything is in its paste form. So I'm just adding them as I go. But this, because we want to demonstrate how we do it. So
how it's traditionally done.
Let's put this away. So it's there. Yeah.
So maybe, Doc, what we can do is I'll add this onion to
here,
this, and then we can put these
put these ones here. I like this, your bowls. They look very fanciful.
Very cute, aren't they?
They look very, very fanciful, and they are good for the kitchen.
They are. So I said the onions are also very important.
Very important. Very important. So we can put the rest away. We have what we have is enough. Now we add just a little bit of water, so we can preserve the paste. It's fine. That's fine. So yes, so we I think it goes like this.
Yes.
And then there's a top.
Yes. So ours has a little, stick, so we can actually, if we need to.
So while
I'm just going to stir it a bit.
Yeah, stir it a bit, and if it's not blending quickly, once it's well grated, it's enough. Yeah, I think that is perfect.
Perfect. Yeah.
That is perfect. So this is our onion and garlic and ginger. Perfect.
Would you agree that if we are also making more of our local meals, we are eating them, then naturally we'll be demanding the ingredients for them, and so we'll be forced to produce them at some point.
Yes, it's a very important point, and that is why departure from our dishes is not very good for us and for our economy. So it's not good for our health, it's not good for our pockets, it's not good for our economy. The more we eat our own food, the more we are encouraged to grow them. Grow tomatoes, grow fresh peppers. The more we are willing to invest in that. But once we can have very easy, fast substitutes elsewhere, we abandon ours. Some people will even argue that the reason why we have too many health issues is that we have departed far away from our dishes. And we are eating the combination of dishes that originally
we are not built to eat.
so we'll blend that.
Do we need some water here as
Yes,
well?
a little
Same,
bit of water.
about the same quantity. Okay.
So we have, so you can see, very beautifully done. We have our onion, very beautifully done.
Okay.
You see, very beautiful. We have the fresh onion and the blended onion. We can add a little bit. Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Okay. So I'm going to blend the tomatoes
Yes.
now.
So our tomato is also being put into the right shape.
Doc, do we want it very smooth?
Not necessarily. Yes, that's it. That's fine. Now we need to check our meat to be sure it is.
Smells lovely.
Yes. We need to. I think we can use any of this, right?
Yes, please.
We need to check our meat.
Okay.
You see that even though we didn't put in so much water,
Lots of liquid around it.
so much water because the juice of the meat itself will cook it. You don't need to put in. So we can cover it now and allow it some more cooking to make it tender.
Okay.
So when we fry it, it is not too hard and people can easily
we
chew
also
it.
have to enjoy eating it.
Exactly.
We shouldn't
Exactly.
overchew.
No, we shouldn't overchew. So we will pour this away and now blend our pepper.
Okay.
I think that's going to be the last thing that we will blend.
Doc, I want us to go on a break.
Yes.
So we're going to blend these peppers. And let's go for a break. When we come back, we continue with our Ayikple with Dr. Mawuli Coffie. I mean, clearly, he's an expert in the kitchen. I take back my words. He actually is a culinary expert amongst all the other things that he is. Let's go for a break. We'll be right back. This is What's Cooking. All right, welcome back. This is still What's Cooking right here on Channel 1 TV. My name is Apyoko. Now, I've been cooking today with Dr. Mawuli Coffie, and look, we are doing some very interesting things, very, very interesting things. We are making Ayikple. I think that's the most important thing to note. And the fact that we're making Ayikple is not just because we feel like eating it. It's because Doc wants us to understand the history of the food, its nutritional value, and the importance of us as Ghanaians and even as Africans paying attention to the meals that are ours traditionally. Convenience is a thing that has come to stay, but we can also be convenient in how we prepare our traditional meals so we don't lose them and they don't lose their place in our culture. So we're making Ayikple, a dish from southern Everland. But Doc is here and he's been teaching us some fascinating things while we go through this dish. Don't forget that the show is sponsored by Tasty Tomufa Kakra na Yebebre. Indomie, it tastes great. Fortune Rice and Mopa, and of course, Frital, you deserve a life of goodness. So, Doc,
Yes.
we're still on it.
Yes. So
and it's moving very quickly.
Yeah. So whilst we're on break, we tried to check our meat.
Yes.
We thought that it is dry, and it's not tender to the level we want. So we added a little bit of water.
Just a little.
Just a little bit to keep it, to cook it a little bit more so that we can get the tenderness that we want
And
out
I think,
of
of
it.
course, our viewers should know, especially those who are now joining us, that initially we didn't add water to the
Not at all.
goat meat.
Not at
Because as Doc made very clear today, meat has its own juices. And so we just covered it after we added our spice, didn't add any water,
Not at
and
all.
then it was cooking in its own juices. But we needed water to come in and act as a lawyer.
Exactly,
at this point.
exactly, exactly. Because its own juices, we have boiled all of it.
Yes.
So we are almost there with the meat. Let me just stir it once more.
Okay.
I think it's looking good.
Our blender is almost ready, the coconut as well.
So we can actually lower the heat with the meat, so it is not cooking at very high heat, very low heat.
Let me help you with that.
Yes, I think this it's a technology kitchen. So
Is that okay?
yes.
Okay,
Yes.
wonderful.
Yes. So one of the things I said is that among the Anglos and Tongs, this a dish that they prepare on special occasions, festivals, and big events. and they will make sure all the women are around doing all the various pieces that we have been doing today, and bring out a very delicious dish that goes around everybody. And as I said, in the olden days, they didn't have refined, fresh, virgin coconut oil. So they actually use the raw, dry coconut, which we have in abundance in our part of the world. They have this, so they use this.
So it's not like today that there's a shop.
Now you
or
go and buy.
You go and buy
the oil.
Virgin coconut oil.
Virgin coconut oil. So we have the virgin coconut oil here, but I want to show that this is what they use.
Okay.
But more importantly, I like the milk from the original coconut to be part of the dish. You will taste it when you eat the dish. You will taste the very foamy milk at the end of the dish. These ones are very tough. Finally.
Yes, there we go.
Finally.
Persistence.
Finally, one of them has given up.
Look at that. Look at that.
So this is the nut, as you can see. And we are just going to try to break it into smaller pieces, extract the nuts, and blend some of it together.
Dr. Lots of people have they believe that this dry coconut is different from the one now we have by many of our roadsides, or when you pluck it fresh from the coconut tree, you crack and you drink the water. Is it different?
It's different. In fact, this is what they call copra.
Copra.
They allow the coconut to mature, grow, mature, and get dry like this. The one we eat by the roadside is the fresh one. It's the very fresh, and out of that they get the virgin oil. So whilst we are doing that, yes, we'll just clean it. So this is our coconut milk. So we strain it so that we don't want the chaff. All we want is the milk. So
it's beautiful. Yeah.
So we want this foamy, rich, white milk. That's all we want. In the village, they will use this chaff. It will not be discarded. It will be used for something else. In fact, they can use it to actually spice the agbelikaklo.
Okay. Okay.
When they are about to fry them, they will mix it with
to also add a crunch.
Exactly.
On the outside.
And the agbelikaklo with coconut in it comes very tasty. But we don't need it now. All we need is this very foamy white milk. It has so much richness in it, even as you can see.
I even want to drink some.
Actually, you can use this for various other cocktails.
Okay.
Yes, you can use this for cocktails.
Like a pina colada.
You can use it for pina colada. You can use it for all kinds of tasty cocktails. We are almost getting there. Once we organize all our ingredients, we are ready to cook. And the cooking takes less than 10 minutes to be done. The actual cooking.
All right, so Doc has finished deboning the smoked tilapia, the cobia as well, which is salted tilapia, the abobi or anchovies. Yes. They've also been cleaned in the way that they are supposed to be, prepped for the ayikple. And then now the ayi, the beans, the kidney beans, which have been boiled. Yes, kidney beans. Yes. Yeah, so here, look at that. So rich.
Very rich, very rich. Now, I have to mention to our viewers that the abobi is slightly bigger than Ketasku boys. And it's smaller than the normal herrings.
Okay.
It is midway. So
they're the middle child.
The middle child. The middle child. So it's bigger than this, and we normally use that. But in the absence of that, the KSB, as we call it, Ketasku boys,
will work.
Smoke also work. It will work very well. So yeah, I think we are good with our beans. Now we have taken about an hour to prepare the ingredients, but now we are ready to cook. So the thing we are going to do next is to fry the meat.
Okay.
Now, whilst the meat is frying, we'll prepare the sauce.
Okay.
The sauce is what is going to be the actual base for the ayikple. Yes.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So we're going to fry.
Yes.
So at this point, I'm going to call on Frital
Yes.
to come and be our trusted friend as always.
Exactly.
Because we deserve lives of goodness.
Yeah. So now we can just put in our
Serve
oil.
our oil.
I think that is
This is
perfect.
enough. Okay.
That is perfect.
So we are shallow frying. It's not
Yes,
a
we are.
deep fry.
No, we are shallow frying.
Okay.
Exactly. We are shallow frying. It's not a deep fry. So while this is frying, we'll go straight to
Our sauce.
prepare our sauce.
Okay.
So I think our pot is dried, so we will go first with our coconut oil.
Okay.
Virgin coconut oil.
So how much do we need? Is it supposed to coat the pan or is it supposed to rise up to the side?
No,
Just coat the base?
Yes, just coat the base. So the first thing we'll do is to put in our onions.
Sliced onions.
Sliced onions.
Onion rings.
Onion rings.
Okay. Let me take that for you.
Yes. So, yeah. So you allow the onion to become very tender.
Smell the smell.
Yeah. You can the aroma of the coconut is all over the place already.
It's a beautiful aroma. Well, I love the scent of coconut oil.
Yeah.
Some people find it too strong.
Yes.
But I think it takes getting used to.
Some people, yeah. But if you consider the benefits to the strength of it,
You enjoy it.
You enjoy it. You enjoy it. We allow our onion to become very tender, and then we'll add the other ingredients. In the meantime, we want to make sure our meat is frying.
Okay. It's becoming crunchy.
Becoming crunchy and a bit brown. So you want the meat to be brown. So when you serve it, it's appetizing. Yeah. So we allow this also to cook for a while, and then what we want to add next is your fresh tomato. That's we also blended. Typically, you just take your time to allow the sauce to boil, and once it has boiled to some extent, some people will want to put in the Kobe when they are frying it.
Okay.
But because the Kobe is a seasoning, you don't put it in.
You don't put it in
early.
Otherwise, the flavor will get lost.
Yes.
Okay.
But it's quite salty, so you put in the Kobe before you put in salt.
Okay.
Tomato paste. Just enough. So I'm stirring it so everything can mix and be very uniform. And then I'm adding the powdered shrimps. Shrimps is very strong seasoning, so you don't add too much. So I'm just adding enough. So I'm mixing it so it's well mixed. I'm allowing it just about a minute to simmer, and then I'll add the fish. In the meantime, because it's becoming a bit thick, so I'll add a little bit of water. I'll add a little bit of water to make sure it is not too thick. Water from the dispenser. I'll add all to it. So I'm allowing it a bit of time to cook. Then I'll add my fish. Once it's boiling, it means that is only when I taste it. So I'm going to add the tilapia and then the anchovies all together. So I will now try to taste it. So I think I need a little bit of salt. The pepper is quite good. A little bit of salt. So now I'll pour in my coconut milk. I pour it gently so that I don't add the debris that's settled at the base of the pan. And you can see it's looking foamy and quite rich. So what we're going to do is to allow it some 5 minutes to cook. We have to allow it some 5 minutes to cook. Then we are ready to go with this. Put it here so we can use it to garnish the dish. So I'm going to take some. I've taken enough that will garnish the dish. So I put it by the meat, and then I'm going to add a little bit of water. I'll get some additional water so that it's enough for the using the hot waters because it's already boiled. So I just need to stir it to make sure it's mixed. And then I'll put in my beans. I'll put in the beans. The beans is just enough. It's enough. The beans is enough. We just put in the beans. Remember, the beans is the second to last that we added. So we allow the beans to boil for maybe 2-3 minutes. And then we are ready to add our roasted corn flour. We are ready to cook the ayikple. So as you can see, we have not a lot of this, and we don't need a lot of this for the ayikple, because a little bit of it brings it up quite very much. So you don't want to add too much, and also because when we leave it for some time, it becomes too hard, and you want to keep it very soft, and that is why it is eaten whilst hot. You don't leave it to be cool. When it is cool, it becomes a bit hard because of the maize flour. So we bring this to a boil. It's almost boiling. So let's give it additional 2 minutes. And once it's boiled, we'll just put in the flour.
So it means that now it's time to make the
ayikple.
Okay.
That's all.
That's all.
And that ayikple takes very short.
Very short, because this is roasted.
Yes.
Coffee, so it's already cooked.
It's already cooked.
The maize is already cooked.
Yes. You don't put in a lot.
Great.
You don't put in a lot. So
this is about over 2 cups.
Yeah,
so
that's enough.
Okay.
That's all that you need.
The flour is very fine.
Yes.
So it will soak up the sauce.
It's already finished soaking it up.
Oh, it's ready.
Yeah, it's ready. Yeah. See, I was telling you that if the beans is too soft at this stage, it will match it.
Yes, and
that's not what we want.
You have to see the beans
Yes,
whole.
you have to see the beans whole.
Okay, so So, Doc, since we are almost done with the Ayikple,
Yes.
let's go for a break. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've been making Ayikple here. Dr. Mawuli Coffie he really knows his stuff. It's been such a joy to watch him do his thing and learn so much from him. But we have more conversations to have. I mentioned much earlier in this episode that Doc is very passionate about the heritage of our food, and you know that I am too. So we'll talk about that, but also talk about him and some of the work that he does. He is the country director of the World Cocoa Foundation, and cocoa is a big conversation in Ghana, but in the world at the moment as well. And we'll just pick his mind on some of the things that are happening in that part of his life. So we'll go for a break, and when we come back, we still cook just a little, but then we sit down to wine, to dine, and to eat like ever king, if Yahweh, you know, very important, the kings and queens of Everland. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're still watching What's Cooking right here on Channel 1 TV. My name is Apioko. Now, I'll have you remember that this show is sponsored by Tasty Tom, Mufa Kakra, Na Yebibre, Indomie, it tastes great, Fortune Rice, Emopa, and of course, Frital. You, yes you deserve a life of goodness. Now, I've been cooking here. Well, I've not been doing much of the cooking, really. My guest has, and he is no other than Dr. Mawuli Coffie. He's the country director for the World Cocoa Foundation. But today he didn't come to talk about cocoa, at least not entirely. He came to talk about Ayikple and its significance in terms of nutrition, in terms of Ever heritage, and really just talking generally about the fact that if we eat more of Ghana, then we grow more of Ghana, and maybe, just maybe, some of the economic challenges we're facing, we can curb them and, you know, just find our feet in the space that we find ourselves in. So now that the Ayikple is ready, we're going to eat it. And I know there's a certain way which has to be served. First thing, it has to be hot.
Yes.
It has to be hot.
It has to be eaten hot.
So it's hot.
It's hot.
Okay, how do we serve it?
So the Ayikple is ready. It's well served into a bowl where we can dish to all the people that we want to serve. So you see that. So that's.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now, Doc, you were very particular about the fact that we should serve the Ayikple with a ladle, or something that would allow us to scoop it.
Yes.
Does it have to look like it's been scooped? Is that how the presentation has to be traditionally?
It make it nice.
Okay.
Serving it doesn't have any specific formula. Okay. You want to make it aesthetically appealing, so people enjoy the aura around it. So basically, that's the reason. Ayikple is raw roasted corn flour, nothing added to it. So when you taste it, you realize that with the coconut flavor, it gives this a unique taste that you won't find if you had added something else.
Of course, and of
so
course.
It preserves the coconut flavor.
So you brought the next key ingredient for Ayikple, coconut.
Yes, yes.
So you made coconut milk from scratch with
yes.
the dried coconut.
Yes.
Here it is. It was cracked open, and then we blended the fruit or the nuts.
We blended
it
to get some very.
We call it fruit, but that's actually the nuts.
It's the nut.
Coconut.
That's what, the coconut.
You know, and then we also had virgin coconut oil.
Yes.
Which traditionally, our grandmothers, great grandmothers,
they didn't have that.
No, so they would have created it.
They will grate this. They will grate it very fine, and then from the grate they will boil it. They will boil it after a while. The oil would come out of it, and then they will scoop the oil, and that is what they will use to prepare the meal.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So we've talked a lot about the food,
yeah.
But now I want to ask you my first question, and it's about you, because you
yes.
haven't spoken much about you.
Yes.
But you are currently the country director of the World Cocoa Foundation, and there are several things that you do. What are some of the key things?
Yeah, one of the things that I would like to talk about, which I'm passionate about, is keeping fit. So I am the president of the Tema Hiking and Fitness Club. The interesting thing that we have climbed all the tall mountains in this country, and I've scaled most of them multiple times.
I've seen you people giving us pressure from afar.
Yes, multiple times. So it's one of the things I like to sell, because we are in an age where you have to take personal responsibility for your health and fitness. And one way to do that is to exercise. I found that hiking and all of that is a very easy way. It's exciting. You see many places. It's adventurous. It tests your stamina and endurance. So it gives you a very good feeling. So that is what I do on the side. But anything else other than that is an addition. I love cooking. I try to cook for my family once in a while. Earlier in our family, I do that every Sunday religiously. But now, too many responsibilities. So I do that when I have the time, or when the children insist that I do the cooking, then I'll cook. And one of the things that I like about cooking is that it is an expression of your passion, and it brings out a kind of feeling towards other people that you care about. I love to be in the kitchen cooking and seeing people enjoy what I'm cooking. And whether the food is not good or not, they give me feedback. So it's a huge experience. Then of course, my main preoccupation professionally is young people's entrepreneurship. Right. And having worked on the continent for more than 2.5 decades, particularly in East and Southern Africa, where I have lived and worked, I noticed that one of the key things that we can do for young people is to give them hope and show them some of the ropes to become successful. Not necessarily as technocrats like myself, but also being able to manage their own business and hire more people. And there are a lot of lessons we have learned over the years that we can bring to support this kind of young people that are interested in becoming their own entrepreneur. Not every young person wants to be an entrepreneur.
No, and of course, not everybody is cut out to be. No. That's the truth.
No. What's cooking?
What are you holding?
You see,
today I expected you to come.
Yes. So
and it's just because Doc mentioned that his wife likes to watch you on TV.
Oh, really, Doc?
Yes, when we're filming your shenanigans.
Thank you.
That's the only reason you came to mind.
Please.
That's the only reason you came to mind.
This picture.
No, anytime we watch. I don't like the way you're encouraging. You can't encourage someone.
No. Doc is already scored even before I start eating.
So we have a plate for you. We have a glass for you.
Anytime we're watching this,
you bring it yourself.
The person she's looking out for is this gentleman.
Yes, distinguished taster. I saw that Doc was making coconut juice or milk. And you wanted to throw this away, but this is nice.
It is.
Very, very nice.
Look.
It is not discarded.
This is another level of Sisalo behavior. So the coconut that we blended that we could make our coconut milk, and then we sieved it.
Yes.
So what that means, when I took the blender to the other
I want to wash it for you.
So when did you come and you want to wash it for us?
Yes.
No, so when did you come and I didn't even see you?
I was lurking around, Doc, you said it should be served hot, eh? Because this one, the way it is, no.
I'm going to serve you.
Please.
And
you want some of my...
So, no, I don't understand why you were lurking around and you didn't come and help us in the kitchen.
No, I was protecting the gates.
So where's my blender?
Oh, it's there in the kitchen.
So somewhere. You left the blender, you took... Doc is here and he's mentioned that...
And Jimmy is special.
Yes, he's special in your home. So, let me not be a Shia Dwalo, a home breaker.
Yeah.
No,
I told you,
Doc is called even before we started.
Because you said he likes you. His wife looks out for you when she watches
I'm
the
a
show.
family taster.
Anyway, Doc was telling me something before you came. You rudely interrupted, as usual. So Doc, please, you were talking about how, we're talking about entrepreneurship for the young people.
Exactly.
Yes, and we're saying how, indeed, not everybody is cut out to be an entrepreneur. No. Everybody has their skill set, their strengths. And, but as much as possible, where young people want to be entrepreneurs, we are very passionate about making sure that they're equipped to do that.
Exactly. So rightly so. Not every young person is cut out to be an entrepreneur. Some may try and fail because they are not made up for that. But those who genuinely and have the skills, the makeup to do it, they need support. which is not very much available in our setting. So people like me are looking out for side people. They need some coaching, they need some mentoring, they need to be told some of the risks that they carry if they venture into business or into any enterprise. What are some of the pitfalls? How do they avoid it? How can they be better entrepreneurs, effective leaders of their own businesses? So these are some of the things that we can do at no cost. And so part of the thing I've been doing is engage in that. By which time I have engaged quite a lot of young people. In my previous job before the World Cocoa Foundation, where I was responsible for SME and entrepreneurship development, I was focusing on young entrepreneurs in agriculture and trying to mentor some of them, and we have paired some of them up with very successful agribusinessmen such as the national best farmer and all of those kind of people, best exporters, so they can help them in their journey of entrepreneurship. So that is something that I think that if we do a lot of it, we can create a lot of young entrepreneurs.
Doc, bless you. Bless you for that, because unfortunately, and I don't even want us to get into the statistics, and I don't have to preach to you, but we know that the African continent is fast becoming, if not already, the youngest continent in the world in terms of age, youth. Ghana has a very young population now as well in terms of the numbers and the weights with the different age brackets. So it's very critical that we get our young people ready to live sustainable, dignified, and also happy lives. And a lot of those three things will come from the work that they do and the passion for it, the returns that it gives them and whatnot. But what are some of the things that you think that young people need to know or need to pay attention to if they want to be successful entrepreneurs?
Yes, so I think that's a very important question. Just say I'm interested in this is not enough. First of all, get some knowledge about what you want to do. There is so much knowledge about almost everything. Maybe you want to make a special type of coconut juice and sell. Get to know what does it entail. Knowledge actually kills a lot of the initial risk that you take. Knowing that this is what I'm going to do. And of course, feel the passion that even when you are sleeping and you wake up, that's the one thing that drives you. I ask a lot of young people, what motivates you? Because on a journey of entrepreneurship, you don't have supervisors that try to encourage you.
You have to encourage yourself.
You have to be able to
every
encourage
day.
yourself. Every day.
And also encourage the people who you
that
may
you
end up employing.
So you have to find something that motivates you. And that thing is the passion that I will do this with all that I have. I'll give it everything I have. And then, of course, develop a broad-based network. Network of both entrepreneurs and even non-entrepreneurs. You might think that lessons are only learned from entrepreneurs. But for people who are not entrepreneurs, they might tell you why they are not in it. People who have even failed. Why did they fail? So develop a broad base of network. So I'll put three things on the top. Be knowledgeable, know it. So I'm talking to a young man right now. I say, please spend the time to know a lot about what you want to do. And then have the passion for it. Feel something in you that drives you. That is uncommon if you are not doing it.
Nothing that keeps you up at night.
At night.
And wakes you up in the morning.
Exactly. And when you wake up in the morning, even before you start praying, that thing is nagging you and you want to do it. And then, of course, build a broad-based network of very successful business people, network of other professionals that will help you navigate some of the very tricky issues of business and management. And the rest of it, which is my last, is be an avid learner. Be willing to learn. Much of the problem I have seen in Africa is our unwillingness to open up and learn. And so we close our mind even when there is this real opportunity to increase our store of knowledge. Because we come with the perception of this, I know it already. But if you open up your mind just a little bit more, you might find that there is some nugget that will significantly change your business.
Doc, I want to ask Doc, the foundation's name is about cocoa?
Yes, the World Cocoa Foundation.
So, no, but what he's talking about, this is not, so he's the country director of the World Cocoa Foundation.
Yeah.
But apart from that, all the things he described, he does all these things.
Okay, yeah,
You know?
yeah. My concern is with the
cocoa.
cocoa production and exports, which is dwindling. And you do, engagement with the farmers and especially the young ones who are now doing galamsey instead of doing the cocoa farms.
Cocoa is a big issue. And historically, when I was in secondary school, as an economic student, we always first start to write. Cocoa is the mainstay, and that's the vocabulary. Cocoa is the mainstay of the Ghanaian economy. Whether it is still the same is a question for debate. Because there are other sectors, such as the service sector and
tourism,
and all of that has overtaken cocoa and the general agriculture. But come to cocoa, there are quite a lot of issues. Climate change is a pivotal one of it. It's a main one that has caused declining productivity of our farms. Our farms are also growing old, and the farmers. The trees are old, and the farmers
are growing old.
The farmers are growing old.
So diminishing returns are setting in.
So a lot of the decline in the productivity is accounted for because we have old farms and aging farmers. And then for me, from the business perspective, how much investment are we making into the sector? How much investment from the farmer level to corporate to the country? How much investment? Therefore, government is making quite a lot of effort to make sure we can keep cocoa production at the optimum level. And then we have the El Nino effect, as they call it. We have the swollen shoe disease. And then the one that, I don't know if it is proper to talk about it, is galamsey, which you mentioned, where farmers are giving up their farms for people to do illegal mining. But we need to check how much of that is affecting the decline in productivity. But it's clear that some of our production is even not staying within our supply chain, which is what we call smuggling. So if everything were to stay in our supply chain, when you see the figures, it's mind-blowing that a lot of it is going out of our supply chain, into supply chains of, you may be surprised, all the way to Liberia and to Togo. Togo. So this is the issue of why we have been declining production. A lot of investment is going on to fight the swollen shoe disease, improve farmer knowledge in the best practices so that they can be able to do a good job on the farms, and also encouraging young people to go into farming. All of that is happening so that the cycle can be reversed.
Doc, it's clear that there are many things that you're passionate about, that you're involved in, and that you're knowledgeable about. And for this reason, we need to bring you back, maybe even if not on What's Cooking, to come and educate us. I believe we can benefit, but Ghanaians as well, people around the world, from a lot of the things that you're versed in, from your intellect. So we'll definitely bring you back. But I know you have other dishes to share as well.
Thank you.
But thank you so much. Dr. Mawuli Coffie has been our guest today, making Ayikple. We've spoken about heritage, history, culture, agric, entrepreneurship, economics, everything, Taster General, your verdict.
I told you, Doc is of a higher grade.
If not for the fact that the food was good, I'll say you're being biased, but
Doc,
I agree.
Doc and Mrs. Doc at home. I'll be coming.
You'll be coming to eat their food.
For a special, one-on-one.
Encourageable, absolutely encourageable. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Dr. Mawuli Coffie is a country director for the World Cocoa Foundation. He's also a hiker. He works with young people in entrepreneurship. He does so many things. And we're so grateful and so honored to have had him on the show today. A very big thank you to our sponsors, Fortune Rice and Mopa. They've been with us throughout. We're very excited. Frital, you deserve a life of goodness, and they gave us some goodness today in our Ayikple as well, somewhere in there. Indomie, it tastes great, and of course, Tasty Tom, Ufa Kakra, Na Ye Bibre. This has been What's Cooking. My name is Apyoko. We'll see you another time.